So welcome back, guys. I don't really have a specific project in mind today, but I do have several things that need doing, so I'm just going to take y'all along. That is probably going to be the last planting of corn for the year, and did 5 rows this time instead of the normal 4. It'll give us just a little bit more for a later harvest, so that should be good. Oops, there's another one. There we go. So the corn, the first batch of corn is actually doing extremely well. It's starting to put on ears, so we should be eating corn here in just a few weeks. And this is Silver King corn, so I'm really excited. That's about my favorite. Now, corn is wind pollinated, so the wind blows and the pollen comes out of these tassels here. If you can see it, there you go, you can see a little bit coming out and just falls down onto those silks, and that's how corn gets pollinated. But honeybees do gather pollen from corn, and there's one, whoops, there was one right there getting a little bit of pollen for a protein source. So guys, if you remember a few videos ago, we put up this electric fence system, and the purpose for that was to keep the raccoons out of the garden, because I was having trouble with what I thought was raccoons coming in here and chewing down the corn. Well, it turns out it was not raccoons. I actually put a trail camera up. Here's one that got chewed down right here. I actually put a trail camera up and got no pictures of raccoons, and I don't see any raccoon prints, and it still continued to happen. Now, I suppose it could be that I got confused and didn't have the fence on, but either way, it's just not raccoons. And I don't know what it is. Let me show you something. So here's one that it has happened to recently, and I don't really see any clear teeth marks or footprints, and that's the thing that is driving me crazy. There's no footprints out here. I thought at one point that I saw a raccoon rear footprint, but I don't think that it was. I don't know. If y'all have any ideas of what it might be, please let me know. I've got that trail camera there that I pulled the card on last night, and it has taken pictures, but it's just taking pictures. I assume, oh wow, can y'all see that pollen coming off of that corn? It is just giving me a shower here. That's really cool. But all it's taking pictures of, I guess, is the movement of the corn combined with the heat of the day. I really don't know. I don't think it's definitely not groundhogs. We don't have groundhogs here. I suppose it could be mice or squirrels, but I don't know. If y'all have any ideas, please let me know. Now with that said, I do not regret putting up this electric fence, because when the corn begins to get ripe, the raccoons will come in here and decimate it. So I think that hopefully is going to prevent that from happening again. Let's look at the tomatoes. So here's our tomato plants. They're doing reasonably well this year. I don't think they're doing quite as well as they have done in the past. They're just not quite as bushy this year, it seems. Here's a Roma tomato, and it's got quite a few tomatoes on it. But here's the biggest problem that I'm having this year, and it's this blight. These plants are getting blight on these bottom leaves, and I've been coming through here and snipping off the affected branches and throwing those branches out of the garden, and then spraying with Daconil fungicide. And of course, once you get this blight, you can't get rid of it, but you can slow the spread. And it's been pretty wet for the last week. We've gotten quite a bit of rain, and that's a good thing, but that moisture helps that fungus really spread much faster. So they're doing pretty good. I just hope we can get a harvest before the fungus takes them over. Here's a Better Boy plant right here, and you can see those white marks on it. That's just the fungicide that I've been spraying. Here's our Kentucky Wonder beans. See, they have really started growing up this trellis right here. Hope to get a good harvest out of these this year. This is my wife's sunflower patch, or one of my wife's sunflower patches. Lots of weeds this year. I caught y'all at a bad time. I've got lots of weeds going on in the garden. There's a couple of squash plants here. Those are doing really good this year. Really nice this year. Some jalapeno pepper plants. Those don't look as good as I would have hoped. Some zucchinis and squash. Cucumbers coming along. There's a sweet pepper, a lunchbox orange, I think it is. Another cucumber. And a tomato plant. So these affected limbs on these tomato plants, there's absolutely no use in trying to keep them because it's just going to defoliate. That fungus is going to curl those leaves up, and there's no hope at all for these particular limbs that are affected. There's no point in trying to keep them. Just take these limbs off and cut your losses and hope that slows down the spread, and get the limbs out of your garden as well, because I mean, you can't kill that fungus. You can, you know, kind of suppress it or prevent it, but you can't really kill it. It's the same thing in honeybee colonies. An American foul brood, all you can do is mask the symptoms when you get American foul brood, but the only way to actually kill the fungus is to burn the colony. You have to burn the colony up. That's the only way to do it. So guys, I was on my way to the next project here, and I wanted to show you all this. That's one of the good guys right there, the king snake. See if he'll stop for us. There he is. We love having those around. They eat poisonous snakes, they eat rats and mice, and we keep those around. All right, let's go to the next project. All right, guys, so a few nights ago, well, I guess it was the other morning, we were in the house and it started raining real hard and our roof started leaking in a spot. So I need to get up here and figure out why it's leaking and see what I can do to fix it. We're gonna take this opportunity also to blow the roof off because there's junk up there that really needs to come off. So I got this part of the house blown off as well. Keeping it clean really goes a long way in preventing leaks because you don't get water backing up and, you know, not being able to drain off the roof. But here is the culprit right here. Here's our leak spot, and I was really hoping that I would find something like this instead of having to chase rabbits. But that is very obviously where we're having a leak. It's in the same spot in the house, and I mean, that's undeniable. So that's good that we found that. So what we're gonna do, I think what I'm gonna do is call the hardware store in town and see if they've got a sheet of this tin rather than just trying to patch it. So yeah, that's actually really good. I'm glad I was able to find such an obvious spot like that. All right guys, so I went to town and I got the tin that we need for the roof, but right now I am watching him. My wife has gone out to lunch, so I am watching him right now, and he's gonna need a nap soon, so I figured getting him outside would wear him out for a nap. So hopefully that'll work. But we need to fix this. This is something I haven't shown y'all. I mean, I've shown y'all the buggy here, but I haven't shown you this. We broke a leaf spring on this a few weeks ago, and it's just been kind of sitting down here languishing. I do have the part, it's just a matter of putting it on, but look at that leaf spring right there. It just came right apart. We're going across the dam right here at the pond. I put it in reverse to look at something and it just snapped. But I do have the replacement part, so what we're gonna do is go ahead and fix this, hopefully, and hopefully by that time he will be...
Dad,
what's in there, man?
that's your drawing.
What are you gonna do if you see a snake? What are you gonna say? Snake in trees, that'll work. Anyway, let's go ahead and fix this, and hopefully that'll wear him out for a nap, and then we'll get to working on the roof. It's gonna sound awful. Jack stands under it, okay? Let me lock these hydraulics so you don't kill me. Yep, that's why I lock the hydraulics, man. So it looks pretty straightforward here. I just need to take these bolts off, as well as, oh man, and I need a wrench. I need an adjustable wrench or something for the other side. I didn't think they had nuts on them. Turns out I took it out of the tractor. I'm gonna see if I can kind of manage here. I don't think I can though. Probably gonna have to go up to the house and get me a wrench. Yeah, there's no way to do it without an adjustable wrench. I'll be back. All right, let's try that again. I think I've got what I need. Yep, there it is. It was a 5/8. All right, that's 1 out of 6. Turns out that was the only one that was 5/8. That one over there is 11/16. So back to the house we go. So it turned out to be a 3/4, but I think I've got what I need now. Do we have what we need? Okay. I think we've got what we need. What you doing, man? Actually, it's acting like some kind of a metric bolt, but this will have to do. Buddy. I guess it's metric, so we'll go back to the house again, won't we? You wanna go back to the house? Woo boy. Alright, I think that we got it this time. I have got a 18mm socket and my metric adjustable wrench. I think we got it this time. You need to go away? You don't like that, do you? Bye.
Bye.
There's our broken leaf spring. You don't see that? There's the end of it. And it just sheared right off. All right, let's put the new one on. What you got? You got water on your hands. That one looks a lot better than the old one. Much, much better. What you doing, man? What do you have?
A box. That's a butterfly, Dad.
That is not a butterfly. What is that?
Dirt.
Dirt. Very good. So guys, I couldn't film that because there was just way too much going on for me to film at the same time. So what I ended up doing, it turned out when that spring broke, hey, it turned out when that spring broke, that whole front axle twisted forward, and that created a situation where I just was not able to get that axle, hey buddy, I was not able to get that axle twisted back where it needed to be as I had it up on the jack stands. So I put him up on the four-wheeler so that he couldn't get up and walk around, and I picked the front end of this thing up, and I was able to get the axle twisted back with the bolts really, and that lined everything back up, and then you saw we just set it down, and I think we're good. This front bolt right here needs another washer because it's just it's just tight, but it's not, the nut is not, it's all the way past the threads and it needs some more threads. So I'm just going to put another washer or two there when I get it up to the house, and I think we'll be fine. Does it look okay to you? Can you inspect it for me?
That spring broke, Dad.
That spring's broke? That spring was broke. It's fixed now. Gertie is not night-night anymore. We've been telling him that, we call this thing Gertie, and we've been telling him that Gertie, can't tell him that Gertie was night-night, stuck in the woods. Gertie's awake. Gertie's not night-night. All right, well, hopefully he has been worn out enough to where I can put him to bed, and then we'll work on the roof. All right, guys, so my son is asleep, and we're gonna go ahead and see if we can get this roof fixed. And I'm kind of crouched down in this weird position because the lighting up here is absolutely terrible. So I'm just kind of doing the best I can, but we got our new sheet of tin right here, and all I really need is a set of gloves, a crowbar, and a hammer, and a drill, and some tin screws. And really, if y'all have an older house or even a newer house that's got tin on it, I would encourage you, if you have a leak in your roof and you feel comfortable getting up on the roof, just to try to fix it yourself, because this was a $20 sheet of tin, and you know, that's all it's going to cost me to fix this roof, $20 and a little bit of time, because I already have these screws laying around. So, and it's really not airplane flying, really. And it's really not a super involved process. We just need to take the old nails out and put the new tin down and get it screwed down, and that's it. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first step, of course, is to get our old nails and screws out. This has got a combination of nails and screws in it. It's kind of been hodgepodged over the years. But you don't want to reuse these screws. You don't want to reuse the nails. These things have got a rubber gasket. The older ones had a lead seal on them, and I do actually have some examples of that. I'll show you. This roof is so old it's got lead-headed nails on it. But you don't want to reuse these because they're kind of one-time use things, and they seal up the hole around the nail or the screw so that you don't get water through that. So splurge for some new screws. Roof's a little slick. Now I'm afraid that there's 3 more up there where the tin has overlapped, but I'm gonna go ahead and try it and hope for the best. Yeah, there's 3 more, so I gotta get up higher. I was hoping not to have to do that because it's so slick. Alright guys, so we got that sheet of tin off and none of that was ideal. I ended up having to take that ladder and put a screw in it right there so that it would stay put, and now I'll have to put that screw into that hole so it won't leak. I also had a little 2-year-old moment here and knocked a hole in the existing tin over the classroom here. Yeah, I have those 2-year-old moments too. That's the part that God is sanctifying out of us, right? I've got some sanctification left to go. So here we go. Insulation's not looking so swift, but let's go ahead and put our tin back on, and we'll be done with this project. Maybe I should call a professional now that I think about it. Alright guys, well we got our holes patched. I decided to patch that screw hole instead of leaving the screw in. I ended up going and putting an extra screw because I was putting these screws here on this inside V right here. I think I should have been putting it on the outside, so I just went back and I put one on the outside up through there. But I think that is going to stop our issues. I mean, it's certainly a whole lot better than the one that was up there with a big gaping hole in it. But there's not a whole lot to tin roofing. But obviously I don't do this every day. I'm not a pro. Stumbled through it the best I could. But I do not think that will leak. So I think we're good there. Let's move on. So I almost forgot I was going to show you all the difference in these old lead head nails and the newer ones. There's an example there of a nail that has a lead head on it. The head, of course, itself is not made out of lead. It's just encased in lead. And what would happen is they would drive those nails in, and those nails, that lead would kind of mold into the hole and kind of form around the nail and prevent it from leaking around the nail. The newer ones have just a rubber gasket on them, and that's one of the reasons you don't want to drive these in too hard or too tight, because that gasket will get all messed up. It just needs to be kind of snug so that gasket will form around the hole and prevent it from leaking. But yeah, I think we're good here. So this was my other project for the day. I was going to go ahead and frame up this window, or trim out this window, and get all of this finished and get my battens in right through here. But yeah, that's not happening today. Let's go do something fun. So guys, I've got like 3 trail cameras around the place here, and this particular one is on the clover plot, and I pulled the cards yesterday so I could see what was on them. But I really enjoy seeing what passes through these fields. Unfortunately, we do have some coyotes that pass through as well, but you know, it happens. This is one of those little cheap Tasco trail cameras from Walmart, and let me tell you, they are unbelievably cheap. But I have got this one and I've got another one, and I think the other one I put out 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, I can't remember. But they work great. I mean, they are cheap, but they work really, really well. And if they tear up, you know, I've got another one that's a Browning that was like $200. If that one tears up, I'm going to be upset. But if these tear up, I didn't pay a whole lot for them. So these are pretty cool little cameras. If y'all need a good cheap trail camera, this is the way to go. Actually, before we go, let's check out this clover plot. I actually mowed this maybe a week ago. I'm not even sure. And right after I mowed, it rained, and we got a fair amount of rain on this plot over the last few days, and it is really starting to thicken up and green up. There's a few varieties of clover out here, so it's kind of interesting to come out and look, because there's a really big leaf clover right there, and the rest of these are smaller. There's some chicory, but it's really encouraging when your clover plot starts greening up and thickening up like this. And I do have some pictures on the camera of deer enjoying themselves out here. Let's go take care of the other trail cameras. So this is the Browning camera in this field right here, and this is a really, really nice camera. It's got a little screen on it, and I mean, it's a super nice camera, but it was like $200. That's a lot of money for a camera that you're going to put out in the weather. So I put this little piece of tin on top just to kind of keep it safe. But honest to goodness, is it worth the $170 extra? I think you can get one of those Tasco ones for $30 to $40. Is it really worth the $170 extra? I don't know. If you get 10 years of use out of something like this, as opposed to 2 or 3 years for the Tasco, yeah, it would be worth it for sure. But the quality, the image quality, is not worth an extra $170. It's really good image quality, don't get me wrong, but $170 worth? I don't know. All right, that one's good. All right, Alright, so here's what I want to do now. I want to find a trail in the woods, a deer trail, and put a trail camera out on it. And this is kind of the area, well, I'll show you the area here in a minute, where we want to put a bow stand this year. Oh, vines. We want to put a bow stand out further down this year. And I kind of just want to see how the traffic is through here. These are the woods that we burned this year, and man, they have turned out really, really nice. It has cleared a lot of the underbrush out of here, and you can see through them a whole lot better now. Spiderweb. You can see through them a whole lot better. You can walk through them. It's kind of a side note, but ticks have been really awful this year, y'all. If y'all are out in the woods, put on something. Put on some Deep Woods Off. Ticks are terrible this year. So there's the tree right there where we want to put the stand this year. You can see it's marked with whatever we had when we were out here. What is that? That's medical tape. Worked. So I think what I'll do is just kind of poke around here and see if I can find some tracks, but I think I'll just stick the camera on this tree. That seems like the most logical thing to do. I don't know if y'all could hear that thunder or not, but I think it's about to storm here. So here's a track right here. So they are in this area, and that's not too far from that tree. So I think I'll take it and I'll point it in this direction and see what we get. Alright guys, so I actually ended up moving it down the tree just a little bit, so we'll just leave it here for a while and see what it picks up, and hopefully we get some good stuff on it. But that's going to do it for this video. Much different than normal videos, but I really appreciate y'all watching, and I will see y'all on the next one.